I've been waiting to make this video for 6 months. You see, you guys all know the story of the 700-gallon aquarium, but you don't know the secret 3 missions I was trying to accomplish. You think you know what the 700-gallon aquascape looks like and or what it might look like today, but you have absolutely no idea. But I think it's important that we start at the beginning. When we shut down the Piranha Aquarium last year and built them a 16-foot long aquarium, I knew I wanted to do something awesome with the 700, and I thought I'm going to build a planted Asian arowana aquarium. So I started gathering supplies, figuring out how I'm going to do it, planning it all out. And that's when Aqua Design Amano reached out to me and said, hey, we want to send you some lights, and we'd also be honored if you entered into our contest, our aquascaping contest. And I was like, well, I don't really have any tanks that I can enter, and I'm not really a pro aquascaper of any type. However, I am setting up my Asian arowana tank as a planted tank, so maybe I could put the lights on there, document my process, enter the contest that way. At this point, I knew I'm going to get disqualified because I didn't care. I can help promote the contest, but my focus is always on my hobby and my fish and what we can accomplish here for the channel. We come first, as selfish as that sounds. There was no way I was gonna hide the 700-gallon aquarium from you guys for like 11 months. So I started setting up that tank, transforming it into a planted Asian arowana tank for my ultimate blood red Asian arowana that's over 24 inches in size right now. The idea was simple: have a tree trunk come from the ceiling all the way down into the water and have some roots kind of go out throughout the aquarium, have a tremendous amount of lush plants by the trunk, but then maybe some grass of some sort that naturally spreads throughout the tank. I knew one thing was certain. I didn't have enough time for these plants to grow within just 3 months, but I thought I'll give it a shot. I knew I wasn't going to run CO2 on the tank for a simple reason. We're going to be adding in a large fish into this tank, and the levels of CO2 that I would need to run for this tank to look absolutely amazing within 60 days was going to be an astronomical amount. Dangerous amount. And I put my fish first. Plants came second, and because of that, I dealt with a massive amount of die-off of the plants. They all began to melt. I was dealing with a tremendous amount of hair algae, cyanobacteria, all kinds of issues. And no matter what I was doing, and no matter what type of water changes, additives, lighting differences, etc., there was no real saving this without adding CO2. That's when I realized I have to abandon the idea of the Asian arowana going into it. And in a future video, this decision worked out beautifully because the 2000 is becoming something you've never seen before. And you'll agree with me, we've all made the right decision, especially once you see the 700 at the end of this video that I'm going to show you. You see, with the arowana tank, I didn't care if I was going to be disqualified from the competition because my gears were already in motion from the year prior. I knew what I was going to do. I was planning this. That's been in my head. I was dreaming about it. I was planning it. I was excited about it. And then I was asked to enter. So I don't care about the competition, but once the arowana was kind of out of the picture, now I care. Now I don't want to be disqualified, which complicated things tremendously. You see, if I document the process and that sort of thing and show you the scape, there's a chance that I could get disqualified for showing my works on the internet, depending on how you interpret the rules. And since it's not my rules or something I've created, who knows what they might do to me. They might just make an example out of me because I'm an easy target, let's say. You see, their goals was to promote the contest and help it grow, especially within North America. There's only 10 Canadians that entered it last year, something like 30 Americans. So on April 15th of this year, I started my rescape. I had 40 days till I had to enter. A 700-gallon tank. I don't know if you guys realize this, but just to get the CO2 dialed in could take upwards of a week. I was going through 10 pounds of CO2 every 10 days. I'm gonna have to emphasize it. One of these every 10 days. This should last a normal planted tank, like, I don't know, 3 months? Maybe longer, a year? So I came up with this scape idea. But this wasn't the only scape idea that I had to come in mind. You see, I never had any intentions on winning the competition. The competition I was in, I created all in my head. Not only do I not want to be disqualified, not only do I want to grow the contest and promote it and do something positive for North America and show our presence to the world. But in order to accomplish that, I had to come up with 3 scapes. One that was believable enough to trick you guys into thinking this is the scape. These are the plants, this is the plants, these are the fish, this is what I'm doing. Second scape for the actual contest, and finally a third scape so that I can actually show you moving forward so that I don't get disqualified like after the fact type of thing. So I had to come up with 3 aquascapes. The first one, I took the trees from the 2000, because that's getting rescaped as well, put that in the 700, and we began planting the tank out. Some falling sticks and roots everywhere, and that tank ended up looking beautiful and wonderful. It was so good that all of you believed this is the tank. Joey, it's not world class, but it's like a king of DIY aquarium, and that's all I was doing was, I'm going to set up a king of DIY tank, like my version, Joey Mullen, and enter it. I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to conform to what they consider a really good scape. I'm going to enter something I like and see how it does against you guys. And that was fun. And that first scape tricked everybody. In fact, that scape was absolutely phenomenal. And in my opinion, it was good enough. I could have stuck with that, but that was just scape 1. You see, 5 days out from the competition, 5 days out from having to take my photo, the scape that you guys saw, I specifically only set that up and did it that way so I can grow the plants. And then I gave myself 5 days for things to settle in after I rescaped it. I immediately started taking out all of the roots and whatnot. The large branches or the large tree trunks, they can stay because I'm going to push them even further back to create even more depth, because they don't need to be the centerpiece anymore. They need to be the backdrop almost. And here I am having so much fun and so much excitement and so much pressure on me. And then I'm reading comments like, this is horrible, you're not a pro scaper, this isn't gonna win, etc., etc. And I was like, guys, that's not the point. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to promote it, and whether that happened successfully or not, I guess we'll find out. I'm trying not to get disqualified, and I'm trying to come up with 3 scapes. I'm in my own contest, in my own head. Oh, the fun that we have in my head. So I finally come up with a scape, and I start showing my aquascaping friends that are entering the contest, and they're like, wow, that's incredible, way better. I didn't see this coming. And I was like, do you know how hard it was for me to convince the internet that the first one was the entry, but for me to come up with this in the same tank with largely the same plants and fish, just adding more? And after I took that photo, I took out some plants that didn't need to be in there. Here's what I did. I added in 15 more species of plants, largely massive amounts of Anubias that I took from the electric eels tank, as well as the 16-foot piranha tank. I added Kabamba in it from Tamara's tank, give it some different color variations, just some patches here. More rocks, but standing logs this time, which we've done in the past. In my standing logs discus tanks with all of the cardinal tetras was probably one of your guys' favorite tanks of all time. Not mine, but with this tank, I thought long term, I want to recreate that look, but with a more wild jungle, overgrown, crazy look to it that really looks relatively natural. I'm not trying to emulate some picture of a mountain or a forest or what it looks like in the Amazon underwater, because it wouldn't look this pristine, this beautiful. The plants wouldn't look like that. But what I was looking, just lush aquatic paradise for the fish. When the contest was over and I entered my photo, I took out a lot of the plants because they were never really going to be in there, and I thought that this is too much. Plus the Anubias was so darn big, it was going to overshadow a lot of the swords and a lot of other plants that I was adding in there, you know, starving them of light and whatnot, and they would have just transformed that tank completely, whereas I'd prefer the Anubias in with the electric eel, which are just floating in there right now. Because I use them to also trick you on the 375, but we'll talk about that in another video. And then on June 21st, I took these videos, and this is what the tank largely looks like today, except the fish are a lot different. I would say a lot different, but there's a lot more fish and a lot more action and a lot more color. That'll make sense in a few videos from now. The plants, of course, have gone to the surface of the water, and if I wanted a jungle look, I got it. The 3 missions that I was looking to accomplish were successful. First and foremost, don't get disqualified. The scape that everybody thinks I entered never got entered and never happened, and I think you guys can agree these look like 2 totally different aquariums. As for promoting the event in Canada as well as the United States, there were record-setting numbers. More people entered this year than ever before. So mission 2 was accomplished, and finally mission 3. Do these 3 scapes, but with the final scape being the best one yet. In fact, it could be argued that it's my best aquarium of all time. However, I need you guys to let me know if I accomplished doing just that. Let me know in the comments section below. Myself, I'm proud as a peacock. I enjoyed doing this. It reminded me of, it was fun to involve you guys. It was fun to kind of trick you. I wouldn't say trick, it was just more so, I wanted you involved. I wanted you guys to know what was going on, but I couldn't tell you everything, of course. But it definitely felt like I was enjoying my hobby without having to answer to the internet. Although I had to answer about things that weren't true and didn't exist, but nobody knew that but me. So it didn't get to me, it didn't bother me. But if you think that this new aquarium and the new scape is its best yet, well, like I said, that video that you're looking at was taken June 21st. We're now midway through July. Another month has passed. Not 5 days, a month. Wait till you see it when we add the fish that we just unboxed in the last video. I had to show you guys this now because when I add them to the 700, some of them, I realized you guys haven't seen this yet, and I better tell this story really quickly and try to get this video out to you guys. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to show adding the fish. So sorry for getting into the middle there, but if you look at the scape, it's just absolutely stunning. And in an upcoming video, we'll dive into it more in depth. I'll tell you about the plants, the lights, the CO2 injection, if I'm adding any, which I'm not anymore, dosing, substrate. We'll break that tank down completely. You know, in due time, we'll get to the discus tank. Oh, which was never going to be a discus tank, but that's a story for another day. And if you want to hear it, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And of course, I will see you in the next video where I think we're adding the fish. If that's the video you want to see, let me know in the comment section below. However, is this my best tank yet? I think it is. Hope you guys do too. See you in the next one.